God Ra, the solar superstar. Every morning, Ra would sail across the sky in his solar boat called the Manjet. But here's where it gets wild. At night, he had to travel through the underworld in a different boat called the Masaktet. Imagine having a commute that takes you through literal hell twice a day. Ra was basically the CEO of the Egyptian pantheon. He ruled the sun, which meant he literally controlled whether people lived or died every single day. No pressure there, right? Ra didn't just shine down from above looking pretty. He created himself from the primordial waters of chaos called Nun. Talk about being self-made. He then created other gods by speaking their names, or, in some stories, by spitting them out. Ancient divine productivity at its finest. The pharaohs weren't just regular kings. They claimed to be Ra's direct descendants. Every pharaoh took the title Son of Ra, which was basically like having the ultimate royal bloodline. It's like claiming your dad invented the internet, except people actually believed it. Ra's influence on modern culture is everywhere, from the Stargate movie where he's the main alien villain to countless video games. Ever wonder why so many fantasy stories feature sun gods as the ultimate power? That's Ra's legacy right there. He set the template for divine solar authority. Anubis, the mysterious guardian. His most famous gig was weighing hearts against a feather during the judgment of the dead. If your heart was heavier than Maat's feather, a monster called Amit would devour your soul forever. No second chances, no appeals process, just eternal oblivion. But here's the mystery that still puzzles scholars today. Who was Anubis's father? Some myths say Osiris, others claim Set. It's like ancient Egyptian paternity drama that never got resolved. Maybe they didn't have divine DNA tests back then. Anubis invented the mummification process when he preserved Osiris's body after Set murdered him. He literally created the entire funeral industry from scratch. Talk about job security. Death is always in demand. Modern pop culture loves Anubis because he looks absolutely badass. From horror movies to video games like Assassin's Creed Origins, that jackal head and mysterious aura make him perfect for anything that needs an air of ancient menace and wisdom combined. Isis, the ultimate mother figure. Isis was basically the Swiss Army knife of Egyptian goddesses. She could do magic, heal the sick, protect children, and even bring people back from the dead. If there was a divine skill set, she had it mastered. Her greatest achievement was literally putting her husband back together after Set chopped Osiris into pieces and scattered them across Egypt. She found every piece except one, his, manly parts, and magically reconstructed him. Now that's dedication to marriage counseling. Isis didn't just rely on divine power, she was incredibly clever. When she wanted to learn Ra's secret name to gain ultimate power, she created a poisonous snake from his saliva and dirt. Only she could cure the bite, forcing Ra to reveal his true name. Ancient corporate espionage at its finest. She became so popular that her worship spread throughout the Roman Empire. Roman women especially loved her because she represented the perfect mother and wife. It's like she became the ancient world's version of a lifestyle influencer, except with actual magical powers. Think of Isis as the Marge Simpson of Egyptian mythology. Endlessly patient, fiercely protective of her family, and way smarter than she gets credit for. Except instead of dealing with Homer's antics, she's literally fighting chaos gods and death itself. Osiris, the tragic king. Osiris started as the perfect ruler, wise, just, and loved by everyone. He taught humans agriculture, law, and civilization. Basically, he was the ideal king until his brother Set decided to make it a family tragedy. Set's jealousy led to the most brutal murder in Egyptian mythology. He tricked Osiris into a coffin during a party, sealed it shut, and threw it in the Nile. When Osiris came back to life, Set found him and chopped him into 14 pieces. Talk about having serious sibling issues. But death couldn't keep a good god down. After Isis reconstructed him, Osiris became ruler of the underworld. He went from being king of the living to king of the dead. Quite the career change, though not exactly voluntary. Every pharaoh was supposed to become Osiris after death. This meant Egyptian kings spent their entire lives preparing to become a murdered god. Imagine your retirement plan being become the Lord of the Dead. That's some serious long-term thinking. Osiris represents the eternal cycle of death and rebirth that fascinated ancient Egyptians. His story is basically the template for every hero dies and comes back stronger narrative in modern fiction. From Superman to Game of Thrones, his influence on storytelling is everywhere. Set, the chaotic brother. Set was the god of chaos, storms, and the desert. Basically everything that could kill you in ancient Egypt. He wasn't evil in the modern sense, but he was definitely the family member you wouldn't invite to dinner parties. His murder of Osiris wasn't just about jealousy, it was cosmic necessity. Egyptian mythology needed chaos to balance order. Set represented the destructive forces that, while terrifying, were essential for renewal and change. Sometimes you need to break things before you can rebuild them better. Set had some unusual physical features that made him instantly recognizable. He had a curved snout, square-tipped ears, and a forked tail. Artists couldn't agree on what animal he was supposed to be, some kind of divine chimera that existed only in mythology. Despite being the villain of Egyptian mythology, Set had his supporters. Desert nomads and foreign rulers often worshipped him because they understood that survival sometimes required embracing chaos rather than fighting it. He was the patron god of anyone who lived on the margins. Here's the wild part. Set wasn't always the bad guy. In some earlier myths, he protected Ra's solar boat from the serpent Apophis every night. Imagine being so chaotic that even the forces of order need your help sometimes. That's Set in a nutshell. Horus, the righteous avenger. Horus was basically the Egyptian version of a superhero origin story. Born after his father's murder, raised in secret by his mother, destined to avenge his family, it's like Batman meets Superman with a falcon head. The epic battle between Horus and Set lasted 80 years. They fought with everything from boats to hippo transformations. At one point, Set ripped out Horus's eye, which became one of the most powerful symbols in Egyptian culture, the Eye of Horus. But Horus wasn't just about revenge. As the god of the sky and kingship, every living pharaoh was considered his earthly incarnation. When a pharaoh died and became Osiris, the new pharaoh would become the new Horus. It was like a divine relay race that lasted 3,000 years. The Eye of Horus symbol is still everywhere today, from jewelry to tattoos to conspiracy theories about the Illuminati. Ancient Egyptian branding was so effective, it's still recognizable 5,000 years later. That's some serious marketing power. Who would win in a fight, Horus or Set? The myths suggest it's eternal stalemate, order versus chaos, neither able to completely defeat the other. Leave your vote in the comments, Team Order or Team Chaos. Thoth, the divine nerd. Thoth was the god of wisdom, writing, and mathematics, basically the ultimate academic overachiever. If the Egyptian pantheon had a library, Thoth would be the head librarian who actually read every book. He invented writing itself, which made him incredibly powerful. In ancient Egypt, knowing how to write was like having magical powers. Thoth literally gave humans the ability to record knowledge, tell stories, and send messages across time. He's the reason you can read this script right now. But here's where it gets weird. Sometimes Thoth was depicted with an ibis head, other times with a baboon head. Why baboons? Ancient Egyptians noticed that baboons chatter at sunrise like they're greeting the sun. They thought this showed wisdom and connection to divine knowledge. During the Judgment of the Dead, Thoth had the crucial job of recording the results when hearts were weighed. He was like a divine court reporter, except the stakes were eternal damnation. No pressure for accurate note-taking there. Modern programmers and writers should probably thank Thoth daily. He's the patron saint of everyone who works with words, numbers, or information. Every time you debug code or edit a document, you're channeling ancient Egyptian divine energy. Bastet, the protective feline. Bastet started as a fierce lioness goddess but evolved into a domestic cat deity. Talk about a career pivot. She went from terrifying warrior to beloved household protector, proving that even gods can rebrand themselves. The ancient Egyptians were so obsessed with cats that they mummified them and buried them with their owners. At Bastet's temple in Bubastis, archaeologists found literally thousands of mummified cats. It was like finding an ancient cat cemetery the size of a city block. Bastet's annual festival was reportedly the wildest party in ancient Egypt. People would sail to Bubastis, drink wine, make music, and celebrate all night. The Greek historian Herodotus claimed more people attended Bastet's festival than any other Egyptian celebration. Ancient spring break, Egyptian style. She wasn't just about parties and cute cats, though. Bastet was a fierce protector of households, especially women and children. Egyptian families kept cats not just for pest control, but because they believed cats carried Bastet's protective power into their homes. Today, every cat video on the internet is basically a tribute to Bastet. She'd probably love social media. Millions of people worshiping cats daily would make her the most popular deity on the planet. Sekhmet, the lioness of war. Sekhmet was what happened when divine anger got a physical form. She was the goddess of war, plagues, and healing, because apparently the deity who could cause disease was also the only one who could cure it. Ancient Egyptian logic at its finest. Her most famous story involves Ra sending her to punish rebellious humans. She went on such a violent rampage that even Ra got scared and had to trick her into stopping by dyeing beer red to look like blood. She got drunk on the fake blood beer and passed out, saving humanity from extinction. Sekhmet had a temper that made modern action heroes look calm. Her breath was said to create desert winds, and her gaze could kill enemies instantly. She was basically a walking natural disaster with the head of a lioness. But here's the fascinating part. She was also a goddess of healing. Egyptian doctors were often priests of Sekhmet because they understood that the same forces that could destroy the body could also heal it. She represented the fine line between medicine and poison. In a fight between Set and Sekhmet, who would win? Set has chaos and trickery, but Sekhmet has pure destructive fury and medical knowledge. Drop your predictions in the comments. Cosmic chaos versus divine rage. Sobek was the god with the most intimidating appearance in the Egyptian pantheon. A full crocodile head on a human body. He ruled the Nile's waters and all the terrifying creatures that lived in them. Basically, he was the reason ancient Egyptians respected their river. Sobek, the crocodile king. Crocodiles were so sacred to Sobek that priests kept live crocodiles in his temples, feeding them the finest foods and decorating them with gold jewelry. Imagine being a temple crocodile with a better diet and accessories than most humans. That's luxury living right there. Sobek wasn't just about being scary. He was also a protector of the innocent and a symbol of royal power. Pharaohs associated themselves with Sobek to show they were as strong and feared as Nile crocodiles. It was ancient Egyptian political branding. The city of Crocodilopolis, yes, that was its actual Greek name, was Sobek's main cult center. The entire city revolved around crocodile worship, with pools full of sacred crocodiles and priests whose full-time job was crocodile care. Talk about a specialized economy. Sobek represents the dual nature of the Nile, life-giving but dangerous. Ancient Egyptians understood that the same river that watered their crops could also contain predators. Sobek embodied that necessary respect for nature's power. Liked it? Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We've got plenty more exciting stories coming your way.